So I have the draggy out. We are in insane mode. We are at 86% of charge. Let's do a run and see how it goes. Oh man, it's so violent. Damn. Damn. 3.26. that is pretty fast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a true Tesla virgin pickup video. So this is the first time I am picking a Tesla up. So this is how it's done. You come to a place like this with a lot of Teslas and deliveries happening. More or less nobody here. It's a really weird situation. I'm used to having someone personally meeting me up and walk me through the car, etc. But what is important then with Tesla is that you do your inspection yourself and you walk through the car thoroughly with regards to the panel gaps. Are there any blemishes? Are there any scratches, etc.? Because once you pick the car up, it will be much more difficult than to have that repaired or argue that something was wrong before you pick the car up. But what is important in this case, first of all, is the car. So this is my first Tesla, as I said. So it's a 2024 Euro spec Model 3 Performance. So we do have the LG Chem battery and not the Panasonic one, which is available in the US. So the specs are a little bit different. We will walk through a little bit on the specs, not too much because there are much more detailed videos on that. So this is just a first impression, me being a Tesla virgin picking up a car and that experience. So what happens is more or less you come to one of these Tesla delivery centers, you have your app, you have done your payment. So depending on how you will finance your car, if you buy it right out or if you will lease it, etc., you finalize that, you come to this spot, then a delivery center, and then you have the app. You say I'm here, and then you will start the registration more or less, and then the car will unlock itself, and there are key cards in the car. And once you have done all your inspection and everything looks good, you will then more or less approve the delivery, and then you drive it home. So what I will do now in my calmness, without filming and having to talk and saying something incorrectly or missing something, I will walk through the panel gaps and so on. And once that is done, we will have a look what is to be done in the app with regards to being able to drive out of here. And also, as you can see, obviously it is in a blue color. I prefer the ultra red, which is a new color than for the Model 3, I believe, but there were no cars available, so I have to do with this then. So with that said, I am Maz. I hope you're having a splendid day. With all of that talking, let's do the inspection, and then I will show you on the app what needs to be done. So I have the app open, and I have said I am at the pick location, and I'm pressing I am here. Let's see what happens. This is all exciting. I might have to blur some stuff out. Yes, I need to blur some stuff out, but here is my vehicle. Accept the terms. Do we want to do that? I don't know what the interior looks like, but hopefully it is good. Let's see. I'll press start here and we'll see. By accepting delivery of VIN I'll press accept. Blur, wait. Welcome to the Tesla family. You are now a fanboy for life, such as all the Apple fangirls and fanboys. Continue. Let's see. Phone key. Upgrades. Do we have like a plaid mode here? No, maybe. I don't know. But how do we open the car? Let me stop filming and we'll see how we can open this car up. So we just gave this the authorization with regards to know where we are. Let's see, can I unopen it here? Oh, yes. So we now have a open car. All so exciting. The love of a new car with plastics. So let me have a look on the interior as well. We are in the car now. Everything went smooth. I've just done some settings with regards to the mirrors and the steering wheel, and everything is more or less controlled through the screen. which, yeah, we don't need to go into that discussion right now. And as you may or may not know, the interior of a Tesla Model 3 and Y are very Spartan, so we don't even have any gauge cluster here, so we need to watch everything on the screen, which is, I don't know. But that's about it. The seats, though, these new seats in the Performance are really bolstered and nice. These are much more hugging, so to speak. The side bolsters are quite thick and large, and they fit my fat perfectly, so it is a nice seat as such, but we will have to see with regards to the comfort how they are. And also, as this is a Highland model, then we do have the interior ambient lighting and so on, and some carbon fiber bits here on the Model 3 Performance. But apart from that, the interior is not that much different compared to a Highland long range or a standard range. And I can just mention then as a reference, we do have a Mustang Mach-E long range RVD at the moment, and I have had a Volkswagen ID3 before and a BMW G2330E. That is my previous experience with electric vehicles, so not that much, but it's not from scratch. It's only that I am a Tesla virgin then. All right, we are all rigged up with regards to the cameras. We have different angles covering everything, and my son here is laughing. I don't know if he wants to be on camera, but let's see, TikTok age, you know, he should be not worry about that. But so we have different modes here. So this is in Swedish. So we have dynamic. So as you can see, it's in standard. Chill, I will never drive in, I believe. We have insane. We only have 46% battery. So we'll see with those different modes how much difference it makes. We have the adaptive dampers in sport, and they can also be in standard. So again, then on the Model 3 Performance, we have adaptive dampers, which is a new then for 2024. And the steering weight is now set to standard. So we will see how light feels, how standard feels, and how powerful feels, as it says here in Swedish. We then do have track mode, which I'm not sure if we will use that today, because there's no point as we only have 46% batteries. Well, let's go back here, dynamic. Let's turn off track mode. So this is a first for me, so everything is quite new. So all in all, as we said, the seats are hugging me quite well. Steering wheel feels nice, a bit on the thick side maybe, but that's okay. And we will try to just figure out how this feels just in normal driving. I do then have a Mazda MX-5, and that car is the OG of analog experience, so to speak. So we will see how all of it feels, and I guess from a performance point of view, this will feel like a rocket compared to the MX-5, and also most likely compared to the Mach-E that we have. But again, then we only have 46% battery, and the LG Chem battery does not like low power state. It doesn't give that much power compared to the Panasonic in general, and I believe also with a lower power state it delivers less than the Panasonic at the same charge level, so to speak. So we will put the foot on the brake, and our drive mode selector, or drive, neutral and park is here. And we do also have a buttons here for the same in case the screen goes out. And we need to do one thing before we do start the drive, and that is, yeah, always so nice to do that. So let's put it in drive, and then we head on out. And being an electric vehicle, everything is smooth, and from an operations perspective, once you start rolling, no vibrations and so on, which is quite nice. And also for me, being a quite heavy, right-footed person, I don't have to bother about having my fluids being warm or not with regards to that when we are in an electric vehicle, so that is super nice. One thing that will be problematic, I just realized, is the indicators. We only have 2 buttons on the steering wheel, and we'll see how that will go. If it's an issue, I guess I have to drive very fast in the roundabout, so there are no cars around, but we'll see. But all in all, at the moment, it feels quite regular. Now the steering feel is a little bit lighter, I would say, compared to previously in the parking space there. And I was looking for my stocks here again, and there are none there, so we missed to indicate there. But all in all, it feels good. Let's give it a quick go. Oh yes, it's much quicker than the Mach-E. I have to say, it's like super much quicker than the Mach-E, and we won't even speak of the MX-5 because that car does not have any torque. We need to be like 6,000 RPM plus on that car. But it feels light, but right away I can say I don't feel any connectivity at all with the front wheels. It feels I'm turning the tires or the wheels turn, but there is no feedback as such into the steering wheel. So again, then I do come from an MX-5 which do have coilovers and are compound tires, etc. So that is my preference then as such. Oh, now we have a lot of blinking with the speed and stuff, I think. So we'll turn it down. Let's go over to the lightest steering wheel setup, and now it's very light. I barely have to touch the wheel. I hope this comes through, but it turns. But again, then the lack of feeling, there is a disconnect to the front wheels. I think actually a little bit more potentially than the Mach-E, but we will see once we do a little bit higher speeds. And if I turn it to the most stiff settings, or whatever we want to call it, it's a little bit better now actually. And that pigeon, hello? Where did it go? There. Huh. Okay, so yeah, maybe it feels a little bit better in the heaviest setting actually, compared to the lightest. Oh, this feels very light. I think I like this a little bit better. And also we do have 235 section tires up front. We'll see what we will do with regards to the modifications on this car. If we will do, I'm actually thinking of 18-inch wheels with some more rubber, but we will see, and we will discuss modifications later on. So I'll stop the chattering now, and then we'll come out of this suburban area. Once we are out on a little bit higher speeds, we can continue the video. So I don't know what happened on our driveway home, where I said I'll talk a little bit how it feels on a little bit higher speed sections and so on. I do have one camera here, one camera there, and one camera here. And I did not manage to record anything usable on any of these three cameras. So what we have done now is we have been home. I have driven the car a little bit more. We have 93% state of charge, so I've charged the car a little bit just to have that maximum oomph. We're still lacking 7%. And also the car has now 106 kilometers in total, and the drive here was around 30 kilometers, and it was 40, 50, 70 section roads. And as you can see, the consumption has been 141 watt hours per kilometer, so it is a very good consumption. Our Mustang Mach-E with similar 20-inch wheels never sees those type of figures, more or less. And as you can see, I have my AC on 21 degrees Celsius, and we do have 22 degrees Celsius outside, so the outside ambient temperature is pretty good, I would say. But the consumption is very nice, and overall over these 106 kilometers it is 162 or 16.2, which is rather good, I have to say, considering that we have 20-inch wheels. So what the intention of this section of the video is to drive a little bit on twisties, to try the different settings and see what they feel like. Talk a little bit on about the road noise on our more high-speed sections and so on, and then we will wrap this initial Tesla Virgin video up. So with that said, let's back the car out and go through some twisties. Hopefully we don't have that much traffic, and then we can see how the car feels, and then we will take it out on the freeway. So I'm still getting used to these indicator buttons. in roundabouts it's quite messy, and we do have quite, or not many as in UK, but quite many roundabouts here in Sweden and or Mexico somewhere, I don't know, but still these buttons do mess my mind up, so we'll see how it goes. So we will start off in chill mode, and we will have the steering weight in the lightest setting. Oh, I don't like this setting at all. And the suspension is in standard, and we can just briefly then talk about the suspension settings. There is a difference in comparing the standard and the sport setting, and for regular driving, for me the standard setting is sufficient. It is plusher, but it is not plush. It's not like we're driving in an air suspension Maybach, so don't buy too much into that. It's still firm, and harsher bumps or crevices in the road, etc., do transfer into the cabin, and that also has to do with the fact that we are running 20-inch wheels with low profile tires. So let's say if we would downsize and go to an 18-inch setup with more profile on the tires and potentially different tires, I think it would feel even more comfortable then. But going into sport, let's see if we can yeah, I can definitely feel it is a little bit stiffer on these smaller bumps in the road. They do transfer more into the car, and the steering is very direct. This is still a, I don't know, what is it, 1900 kilogram car, and the steering response and how it darts in is actually quite nice. But again, then having irrespective of the settings we have on the weighting, the most heaviest setting on the weight is nicer with regards to the steering feel, but I don't get any feedback back into the steering wheel from what the front tires are doing or feeling. So I mean, when I'm doing this, I don't feel anything back, so to speak. And if we go to the standard setting in the steering feel, it's a little bit more weighted. It feels a little bit nicer. The lightest, I think it's way too artificial with regards to how light it is then. But in this setting, I think this would suit most people running the standard suspension setup, and also having the steering in the standard setting. And again, then I do come from a Mazda MX-5 with coilovers. The coilovers are stiff, or my springs are stiff. I run the dampers quite stiff, so most cars do feel comfortable, so to speak. But again, then if I compare this to the Mustang Mach-E, it is a quite similar experience. We have the long range rear wheel model, so we don't have MagneRide on which is on the GT, and the springs on the Mach-E's are quite stiff, so you ride a lot on the springs, and this feels somewhat similar with regards to the ride. But I would say this is ever so slightly more comfortable than the Mustang Mach-E, at least from what I'm feeling now. But again, then downsizing to 18-inch wheels, and also our Mustang Mach-E is running on 20-inch wheels, so this is somewhat of a comparable comparison then with regards to the tire size. If we go back to sport and change to the heaviest steering weight, then it is considerably more weighted steering now, but still there is no feedback back into the wheel with regards to the front tires are doing. But we do have a very direct steering. As you can see, the car turns in as soon as I turn in, and it feels much lighter than our Mustang Mach-E in these twisties. That car doesn't feel that heavy until you actually start turning or braking. And with regards to braking, I can't comment on the brakes on this car because my brakes are not bedded in properly, or they're not bedded in at all. I have barely touched the brakes, and I need to find a way how to disengage the one pedal driving so we can bed in the brakes properly, so we get that optimal performance with regards to the brakes done. So as of now, I'm only been driving with one pedal driving, meaning when I let off the throttle or the accelerator, the car brakes by itself when it's doing the regenerative braking then. So all in all, on these twisties, the car feels very nimble. I have driven this road many times with my MX-5, and I have to say, you don't think about the weight of this car, at least on these speeds. I don't want to go too fast because it's a lot of houses around here, and also we don't have the braking capacity potentially. But if we do go a little bit faster here and put a little bit of brake, yes, it is, yeah, it hugs the road really well, I have to say. It's very impressive actually. I mean, it's not a sports car, but for being what type of car it is, it feels very nimble, I have to say. And if we do turn this to standard in the propulsion, we do have, so I've been in chill now, we do have some more acceleration. The car right away feels more nimble with regards to the throttle input. As you can see, it just wants to go as soon as you touch the pedal, and we have not gone to the insane mode yet, and I will go to that mode just in a bit. But there's no point almost with this type of twisty roads with the insane mode. We will see if we will do some 0 to 100 kilometers in this video as well. I do have my draggy. I think I'll do a separate shorter video just with the acceleration because it is quite mind-boggling. We will talk about the performance just in a bit, but if we do take this section here, the car feels very, very nimble, I have to say. It feels very nimble. I don't know for your average Joe if you would ever need anything more than the standard setting on the performance and also the way this car drives. I mean, 95% of people will never drive like I'm driving now in this type of situation. So from that aspect, it is nice, but I mean, it's not a communicative car such as the MX-5 or a Porsche or whatever and whatnot, or potentially like the Ioniq 5N. But for what you're paying, this car is most likely cheaper than any alternative that I just mentioned in any country. So from that aspect, it's quite nice. So let's go to insane mode. I don't know where I'm going to use that here in this twisty section. Oh my god, it just wants to rip your brain out on this type of road. We have a lot of traffic here, but if let's see, do we get more traffic here before we do something stupid? But the acceleration is crazy. It's crazy. That's all I can say. The seats do feel nice on this type of road. They do hug me in nicely. I don't scoop around too much in these seats on this type of road. We are not driving more than 4 or 5 tenths, but still it feels supportive. I think another type of seat maybe is more comfortable, but not supportive with regards to dynamic driving. So you will have to decide for yourself, is the long range model potentially the better choice, and also are those seats more comfortable to you, or you would be fine with these type of seats. But they do hug me nice, and we do have lumbar support. We have fully electrical adjustment with regards to the inclination and up and downwards, and also the steering wheel as such. Maybe I have not found the perfect seating position yet, but we will tinker around a little bit with that. But as you can see, I'm sitting quite close to the steering wheel. If I do like this, you will see how far my hands reach. But that's for the dynamic section of this drive. So I will head on back and do some highway miles or kilometers, and then we will wrap the video up. I have the draggy out. We are in insane mode. We are at 86% of charge. Let's do a run and see how it goes. Oh man, it's so violent. Damn. Damn. 3.26. that is pretty fast. We are now on a little bit higher speed road, and I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour. This asphalt I know is a little bit coarse, but still I can't complain about the interior cabin noise. These tires will, as I mentioned earlier in the video, then give more resonance and stiffness into the cabin because they are low profile. But there is barely any wind noise, and we are doing 100 kilometers an hour, and I can't complain at all with regards to the sound insulation, and the car feels stable. We are doing 90 kilometers an hour. It's no issues as such with regards to the stability, but obviously 90 kilometers an hour is not that fast compared to the drives you would be driving on Autobahn and so on. I can't do that unfortunately right now. Well, we will do a more long-term review once I have had the car for some longer time and I've done some more long driving. We have a 500 kilometer one-way trip coming up next week, so that will be a good opportunity then to test out this car's ability to have it for longer trips and so on as well. So all in all, it feels good. The seats, as I mentioned, I think they need a little bit more break-in, and I need to adjust the lumbar and so on to my comfort, but I do feel that the seats that we have in our Mustang Mach-E, they are more comfortable compared to these seats. But again, these seats are made maybe for a little bit more dynamic driving, so to speak. So that is that with regards to the general comfort level at higher speeds, even though we're not doing that high speeds. It's time to wrap this long ad hoc video up. I didn't even intend to make a video, but I thought why not, as a Tesla virgin, to show you what it is like to be at a delivery center and just have an app with no contact delivery, no persons there more or less, and how it is to pick up a car. And luckily we didn't have any panel gaps, scratches or blemishes on my car at least, so that was a great thing. And also, as you saw in the video, I've not talked about the cabin space or leg room or headroom or the infotainment system or the camera based parking setup, etc. There are a bunch of other videos with regards to that, but I'm still a little bit hesitant on not having a radar and sensors in general then, but we will see how that will go. But all in all, it's a great package. This car is not best in anything as such. Okay, maybe the technology and the infotainment system setup, but from a performance perspective, there are other cars that are faster, there are other cars that have longer range, and so on and so on. But as an overall package, specifically with the price paid, and specifically in the US under 50k with tax incentives, and that car even has even faster performance in a straight line at least. That is crazy value, I have to say. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below in the comment sections. And also, if you want me to film anything specific with the 2024 Model 3 Performance Eurospec, let me know in the comment sections. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. Do remember to subscribe for future content with this car, and some other things then. And that's about it. I'll be seeing you on the next one.